If that's what it takes, whether you're sad or hurt or empty, you have to keep playing. For people like us, a life without music is death.
When people talk about old memories, they usually refer to things they saw or did. But what about memories brought about by sound? Whenever I hear the piano or violin, my mind immediately goes to a certain show. That show is Your Lie in April. Your Lie in April, or Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso in Japanese, is a show that has resonated with me ever since the day I watched the first episode. The episode where I met Kosei and learned about his hardships, and how he met someone that inspired him to get over them. Whenever I see cherry blossoms or the volumes of April on my shelf, I'm reminded that I should be giving it my all. Because that's the way Kaori lived. She lived every day to the fullest and freely. People may think it's crazy to get inspired by anime, or any media for that matter, but I don't look at it that way. I think anything and everything can be fuel and inspiration to become a better person. April is just one of those shows to me. First impressions are everything. The same goes for Kosei and Kaori. But I don't want to talk about the first episode, or even the second. I want to talk about the third. The episode that establishes the relationship between Kosei and Kaori. In this episode, the two hang out one-on-one for the first time, and with only first impressions to go off of. Kosei thinking Kaori is nothing but sunshine and rainbows, and is always energetic and free-thinking, while Kaori is under the impression that Kosei is a piano prodigy, and it's a given that he's special and has talent, and is confident in his abilities. They then go on to have all those first impressions shatter right in front of them. Kosei isn't a prodigy everyone thought he was. Sure, he has talent and work ethic, but he's human, and still a kid. He didn't have a childhood where he can go out and play with friends every day until the sky turned to night. It just wasn't an option for him. All he had was the piano, and whenever his mother eventually passed, he lost the one thing he based his life on. He had nothing to live for. He was going through the motions and putting a mask on and trying his best to hide it. He was lucky to have Sabaki and Wataru with him. They were his light, the light he needed to live, but not to play the piano. This is where the fragrance of the sun comes in. He met a girl that was the light on the path to the stage. Whether he would follow it or not was up to him. In this episode, Kaori finds out all of this. The fact that Kosei gave up on his dreams and himself, and she selfishly dragged him onto the stage. But there's an issue with this. What's Kosei doing for Kaori? That's a great question. Throughout the series, Kaori is dragging Kosei around and pushes him to be the best version of himself. The version she thinks is the best. This causes Kaori to have self-doubts about bringing him back into the world of music. Did she go too far? Did she make everything worse for him? She's constantly asking herself these questions, and vaguely asking Kosei about these toxic, self-loathing thoughts. She even goes as far as asking Kosei to kill himself with her. And Kosei can't do anything but watch and look at her. It's as he said, he's not good with words. The only thing he can do is play piano. And that's exactly what he does. He plays to the best of his abilities and tries to make Kaori feel better as a result. But that's what he did for his mom, and it didn't work. So we have come to a crossroads. Kaori fighting with the fact that she's making Kosei go through so much pain again, and Kosei fights with the fact that he will eventually lose someone he loves again. Whilst he can do nothing about it except play the piano. Kaori isn't always free thinking and positive. She has doubts and fears. Kosei co-aligns this with himself. He takes her off the pedestal he put her on and puts her on the same plane with himself. Granted, he puts her ahead of himself, but that's okay. Both are stagnant in their own worlds, waiting for someone to give them a push forward. Kaori is the son Kosei needs to break out of his shell and be the best version of himself again. That's why she dragged him up onto the stage. That's why she forced him to become a pianist. She wanted him to want something and not be still. And by helping guide Kosei, she's helping herself by accomplishing one of her dreams, to play a duet with him. This episode is the basis for all of this to occur, for them to have a bond. It makes me feel something every single time I rewatch this series, especially this episode. The fact he tells her about how he can't hear his music is astonishing. The park scene as a whole was just breathtaking, and the way Kaori was just like, I don't care. I just want to play with you, to be up on stage with you. It just made me fall in love with April. It made me yearn for the rest of the series. And to have the series by the end become one of my favorites of all time, and have Kaori become one of my second favorite anime character of all time, it's for all these reasons that Your Lie in April will resonate with me for the rest of my days.